Hello, how's everybody doing? Good afternoon. It's your boy, OG Red Dog, Devin. I'm here enjoying, I would say I'm very happy and excited to be here, and I am very happy and excited to be here. Let's make sure my mic is coming up good. Yes. And we're going to try to wait for some people to come in. Okay? Try to wait for some people to come in. Hope everybody's doing good. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about the gateway experience. We're talking about actually taking this very seriously, taking this endeavor very seriously. I'm going to be truthful with you. I've had the gateway experience audio for quite a few years. I don't have the complete library, but I do intend on purchasing them, as I recommend that you all do. Purchase them directly from the Monroe Institute. I also recommend that you follow the Monroe Institute on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Okay, they're also on Facebook, and and I highly recommend taking the Gateway experience. Now, let me just do a sound check. Please forgive me for the feedback here. Great. Okay, yeah, my music is funky, but it's a little too loud. Thank you for your patience. And I'm also going to, but this beat is appropriate for what we're doing. And let's see. Let's get back here and pop out my chat. Thank you for joining. Remember to get those likes up. Okay, chat, give me some engagement. We're taking this very seriously here at the BiomedRx Health Center. If you are here in Southern California and you should like to participate in the out-of-body experiment and take it as seriously as I'm taking it, by all means. Sorry about that. I always have the wrong volume turned up on my mic, and I have to really pay attention to that. Please forgive me. I hope you guys forgive me. Anyway, at least now we have this one mic, and if I get this together, we'll have two. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really don't know why this mic sometimes gives out on me like that. However, Thank you for hanging in there with me. Now, what I'm saying here is that in order to accomplish the out-of-body state, right, I want to be able to do it in a repeatable fashion. I want to be able to be proficient at it. The fact is, there's a certain class of spy, right, of intelligence officer called remote watchers. And remote watchers are people who are paid to spy in rooms where they're not physically present. People who are able to shift their consciousness from where their body is physically present to the next room, the room upstairs or downstairs or the next apartment or, what have you. And that's a skill. That is a skill. And what I have learned through years of being a neurofeedback clinician is that if you train the brain repetitively, right, in short intervals, you will provoke a permanent shift in brain function. And the binaural beat work that has been put together by the Monroe Institute, I will honestly tell you, is truly powerful work that, when you listen to it, it has a very profound effect on you with very few listens, with very few tries. So if I apply the same discipline with which I perform neurofeedback, which is training every day or sometimes multiple times a day, to doing the out of body meditations and the other works of the HemiSync, right? The HemiSync is the binaural beat product of George Monroe and Bob Monroe and the Monroe Institute. And by going through this and training until you provoke a permanent shift, which is the same theory with which we do neurofeedback, right? We have an expression, shift happens, right? By training the brain repetitively, right, in close interval, you can in fact permanently absorb whatever the intended effects of that training are. Okay, and I will tell you this right now from my personal experience, that when you do HemiSync, okay, and then immediately follow that up with synchrony neurofeedback, your performance of synchrony neurofeedback improves at least 3 or 4 times. Okay, you will trigger boom, 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 even if you're doing neurofeedback at the highest frequency, which Signat offers, which is 50 hertz. Okay, which tells me that the frequencies that are incorporated in the Gateway Experience audio files through the Monroe Institute are bringing the mind up to higher than 50 hertz, and that is an absolute fact. I'm not even going to question that. Okay, so yeah, now I'm just trying to think of what is the best sandwich, right? What is the best way to seriously go about doing this training? Because it does also involve supplementation. I am taking ORMUS. I confess, I do not, I have ORMUS here, dry as well as wet. I try to keep it in the dark, but it is pretty stable, okay? And I've actually got more bottles of dry and wet. Got it in an opaque bottle. It hasn't even been cracked yet, which is good because it's still opaque. Probably more stable than the clear. But, that's part of my training regimen now, right? I supplement myself with ORMUS. I am still fasting, and I do the Mind Alive David, which is audio-visual brain entrainment, with CES, cranial electrotherapy stimulation. With cranial electrotherapy stimulation, we are putting clips on the ears and stimulating the brain to produce norepinephrine, epinephrine, and most importantly, serotonin. And so these supplements, they help promote neurodendritic plasticity. What is neurodendritic plasticity? That is when the dendrites of your neurons sprout other dendrites, okay? The dendrites of the neurons sprout other dendrites. And when you are in a state of neuroplasticity or neurodendritic plasticity, you are capable of responding to the stressors that you are placing on your brain. So for example, I'm taking ORMUS and I want to stop procrastinating if I want it to be more productive and less procrastinatory, right? So I would train myself here at F3 and F4. Now I am putting a physical stress on the pyramidal and all of the neurons really, because beneath where the EEG probe goes, you're training an area that's about the size of a golf ball, if not bigger. And it's not an exact science. It's like a hammerhead clang to a certain part of the brain, which is good in its own sense, because if you're training the motor cortex, you want to train the somatosensory band at the same time. And by having that broad, footprint, if you will, of where the neurofeedback training is taking place beneath the probes, then you can effectively train areas of the brain. It's specific enough. It's specific enough. But by putting a stressor there on the areas where you can improve the your cognitive function, of course you want to focus on the frontal lobe. You want to focus on all areas of the frontal lobe. Of course you want to focus on the somatosensory band and the motor cortex. Of course you want to purge emotion from the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe. So there's a time and place for training specific parts of the brain. But by complementing supplementation with ORMUS, and there are other foods that can promote neuroplasticity, and putting that specific training on the brain, I have already learned through my neurofeedback practice that this is something that can be done very effectively, that you can actually improve the areas of your brain that are accomplishing specific functions for you in life. Now, how does that translate to hemisync? Well, hemisync is definitely hemispheric synchronization, and so is synchrony neurofeedback. However, if I had to explain it in layman's terms, or in cryptographic terms, or in terms that might be considered, terms that might be considered, there you go, nice and loud, terms that might be considered cryptic, I would say that during synchrony neurofeedback, the hemispheres of your brain are moving in synchrony with each other, provided you have the probes in the exact same part of of each hemisphere of the brain for the left and right channel in the neurofeedback amplifier. This is the neurofeedback amplifier right here, right, as you can see, right, and it's got the light on already. And there is a channel 1 and a channel 2. You understand? And so with synchrony neurofeedback, you are connecting these two probes for channel 2 on one hemisphere of the brain, and these two probes for channel 1 on one hemisphere of the brain, on the other hemisphere of the brain, and you're training the two hemispheres to work in synchrony with each other. If you do your neurofeedback training, like I said, in close interval, you will provoke a permanent shift. If you do your neurofeedback training with the assistance of supplements that promote neurodendritic plasticity, such as ORMUS and monatomic gold, you will definitely enhance the effects, okay? And you will promote neurodendritic plasticity in the specific areas of the brain where you're training. Well, now we can say as I explained, synchrony neurofeedback as being two soldiers, marching in formation or doing formation drills and doing mirroring each other, right? That's what's happening during synchrony neurofeedback. During hemisync, you could say these same two soldiers, your left and right hemisphere, the left and right hemisphere of your brain, are working together in cooperation, like spinning a jump rope, okay? So they are apparently doing the same motion, right? But their act is an act of cooperation, because while the information comes into your ears in the form of sound, the information is then processed in the brain, right? Because of the deliberate schism in frequency, right, between the tones in the left and the right, the deliberate production of binaural beat frequencies in the brain forces the left and right hemispheres to act together to produce an output. So the training that you get from neurofeedback definitely builds the brain like a bodybuilder and gets you prepared for the work that you will be doing with hemisync. The work that you do with hemisync also benefits your neurofeedback training greatly. Since I have been doing I have been training at 50 hertz, my own brain, for about 2 years now. I've thoroughly, and I'm talking about in synchrony neurofeedback, and I've thoroughly provoked what we call the proverbial shift. I can train in synchrony anywhere on the left and right hemispheres as long as it's the right place, and I can trigger pretty fluently, I guess you can say, right? Pretty fluently. It's hard to understand what I mean when I say trigger, right? Because you have to understand neurofeedback. And I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do another live where I have this amplifier. As you can see, the amplifier is on right now. And I'm going to use my amp, okay? I'm going to use my amp, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to also give you the audio of my neurofeedback training while I'm doing it, so that you can see how prolific the gonging is. Boom, 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 boom. After having done hemisync, after having listened to the audio files of hemisync, especially what I'm working on right now is the gateway experience. So you can play the Rocky music, or you can play the eerie conspiracy music. Yes, because gear up. What I'm doing right now is I am preparing to train myself, literally, to be a remote viewer, or to have that capacity. If a lot of people say they go to the gateway experience, and of course they don't. They may or they may not experience the out-of-body experience, and that's fine, because trust me, you do learn an incredible amount about yourself using the gateway audio files with or without the out-of-body experience. It is when you're dealing with vibration, you're dealing with a characteristic of reality. Frequency is mathematical. Frequency is repetitive occurrences over spans of time. Frequency does not change for anyone. Either you are healthy and up to the challenge, or you're not. And the changes that the cocktails of frequencies that Monroe and the Monroe Institute have put together on this work is very powerful. It is very deliberate. It is very designer. It is designed to produce a character, I guess you could say, or even personality change, or an outlook change, a change in outlook on how you are seen in the world, and or how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world. It does help. When you're dealing in gamma, and the gamma phase, which is 30 hertz and higher, and it really could go, there's no limit to how high you are. That's why I train at 50 hertz. I already train in gamma. When you're dealing in the gamma frequency band, you're dealing in the unifying frequency band. And that's the area where super consciousness exists. Problem solving, forgiveness, love, conflict resolution. That's where you come up with the answers for everything. And the HemiSync work, especially the gateway experience work, produces what some people call a thought bubble. You receive a divine dropping of consciousness into your consciousness. And it is beautiful because it lets you know that such a thing as divine inspiration does exist, and it is possible, and that learning and everything does not necessarily only exist through reading books and listening to lectures and acquiring experience in the physical world. That you can learn, you can tap into the universal source of knowledge. And these things are quite real. Now, the frequencies are there. The frequency bands are always there. Whether or not your brain is well rested and oxygenated well enough, which brings me to another subject. We do have a relationship with a hyperbaric oxygen center that we're going to be working, well, we are already in the process of servicing their hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So we can add that, because hyperbaric oxygen does also promote neurodendritic plasticity. So we can add ORMUS, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, neurofeedback, cranial electrotherapy stimulation, audio-visual brain entrainment, and the gateway experience, because the gateway experience is the ultimate training that if we continue to pound away at, we can still provoke a permanent shift. And of course, by taking ORMUS, we will be producing more neuroplasticity in the brain overall, as well as to the areas of the brain that I'm going to be training, specifically with neurofeedback. Now, where do I train with neurofeedback? It's always some version of front to back. It's always some version of the frontal lobe to either the parietal, temporal, occipital lobe, or sometimes all the way back here at the cerebellum, or the junction between the occipital and the cerebellum. And this gets the whole left hemisphere and the whole right hemisphere involved with all of the training that we want to do. Now, I have to also admit that as of late, I've been very surprised with my neurofeedback sessions, the effectiveness of them, let's say, on the somatosensory band and the motor cortex, okay? And training the somatosensory band and the motor cortex is extremely important. So I am going to be focusing on that too. I am going to be training in that area as well. So I just want to thank you guys. And, I want to get you guys caught up on what it is that we're training, okay? What it is that we're doing as far as, binaural beat training in the first place, okay? So I give you guys a chance to check this out just to get caught up.
Hi, this is Devin Lockett once again at the BiomedRx Health Center with another holistic health tip. Or maybe this is another lifestyle enhancement tip. I'm not sure what it is, but I wanted to introduce you to the concept of binaural beats. Before I get into an explanation of what binaural beats are, I would like to give you just a little bit of information about how the ears work and how the brain works. We see in stereo and we also hear in stereo. Sometimes if you're standing on a street, for example, and a car would come driving by, you would hear the horn. If someone honked the horn while you were walking down the street or standing on the street, you would hear ba ba, right? The tone, right? The tone would go down, right, as the car was driving away. Now, that was one sound. That occurred in one sound, that it was one horn. And the change in tone was because the sound waves were reaching you at increasingly longer periods of time. So that kind of stretched the sound out, so to speak, and made the tone appear like it was going down. But your brain knows, your mind knows that what you heard was one sound. This is a survival mechanism, right? We hear in stereo. So when you hear two sounds in either ear that are very close in tone, very close in frequency, the brain has a tendency to try to merge those sounds. Like I said, this is a survival mechanism, part of being a human being. The brain has a tendency to try to merge those two sounds into one. And what you may hear at first is a wavering tone, like woo, 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 kind of like a siren sound. That attempt in your mind to merge those two tones into one is called a binaural beat. Now, binaural beats were discovered, I guess you could say, or invented by Mr. Bob Monroe. Bob Monroe, unfortunately, passed away in 1996. He's no longer with us. But he is credited as the inventor of binaural beats and probably the chief pioneer in experimentation and working with binaural beats. You can find a link to the YouTube page for the Monroe Institute right here. I do recommend that you go to the Monroe Institute YouTube page and view the videos from Bob Monroe. Bob Monroe did this research which led to the discovery of binaural beat technology for the United States government. And in this process, he developed combinations of binaural beats that can entrain the brain to do any particular job or sport very well. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. First, I want to go into brain entrainment and neurofeedback and brain frequency so that you can kind of get a little bit of background of what's going on here. Now, here at the BiomedRx Health Center, we do a lot of brain training. We do a lot of training of the cerebral cortex. This is part of our peak performance training as well as therapy that we provide to people on the autism spectrum or suffering from anxiety, stress, depression, ADD, ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, bruxism, insomnia, addiction, alcoholism, and many other neurological conditions. Now, in the practice of neurofeedback, right, we focus on the different brainwave frequency bands and their respective effects on human cognition and human behavior. For example, from 0 hertz to 5 hertz is considered the delta range. Delta is when you're in deep sleep. So we can do neurofeedback and train you in delta and get you nice and sleepy, and you'll sleep very well. From 6, 7, 8, around 9 hertz in that area is theta. Theta is associated with light sleep or dream sleep or REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. In this zone, you can access the subconscious mind. You can also access and process repressed memories and repressed emotions. Above theta, we have the alpha zone. Alpha zone is pretty much where I am right now and where most people are at most of the time. The alpha zone is around 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 hertz. In this zone, a person is awake and relaxed and basically happy. That's what we call the yummy zone. Above 9 hertz, above say 12 hertz or so, around 20 hertz, we will get into the beta zone. Okay, beta is the mind state that you're in when you are paying attention, listening to a speech. Like right now, you're listening to me, you're learning from me. So if you're paying attention, your mind is operating at around 20 hertz. Your mind is in beta. If you are in high beta, around 25 hertz, that's around the frequency band that you are in if you're trying to solve a math problem or if you're really intensely thinking about something. Most people, when they're driving, they bounce back and forth from beta to high beta because of all of the attention that is required in so many different areas, spatially, linearly, movement, right? All of the different things that are going on during the process of driving an automobile. It keeps you between 20 to 25 hertz or maybe even higher in the beta or the high beta zone. Now, 30 hertz and above is called the gamma frequency zone. In the gamma frequency zone, you are basically, gamma is considered the unifying frequency zone. With every increase in frequency, there is a corresponding increase in physical tension. For example, if you were to train in the delta zone, you would be physically relaxed to the point of being sleepy. If you were to train in the theta zone, it would be great for hypnosis or self-hypnosis because you would be accessing that theta zone, right? Or what we call the alpha theta state, where you're bringing the subconscious to the conscious mind, or you're able to access the subconscious via your conscious mind. In the alpha zone, that's pretty much putting you in the happy zone or the yummy zone. A lot of people train in alpha. It's a little bit challenging at first to find their optimal reward frequency, but everyone does have an optimal reward frequency to train themselves into the happy zone. Some people come to me saying, well, they want to study for a test, or they have a very intensive seminar or something coming up, something that's requiring a lot of their cognitive abilities, and they want me to train them at 25 hertz. They want me to train them in the high beta zone. I can do that. The problem with that is that after you've had your test, your ASVAB or your LSAT or whatever it is that you were preparing yourself for with high beta training, then you're going to feel like you've had a little bit too much coffee and you're going to want to relax and get out of that state of cortical arousal. The funny thing about the gamma zone is that although there is a corresponding raising of physical arousal in the delta, theta, alpha, beta, and high beta states, when you get to the gamma zone, there's a little bit of a divergence. The brain starts moving super fast and the body starts being very relaxed. So when you're in the gamma zone, you're actually in what is like an intense meditative state where, you know, your body is very relaxed, but the brain is moving very, very quickly. Now, this is known as the unifying frequency. This is known as the zone of problem solving, conflict resolution, bringing the mind and the body and the spirit together. Gamma is really good. Gamma is the area where I train every day. Now, with binaural beats, it's a little bit different than neurofeedback, because neurofeedback is a process of training the brain to access these states on its own. And with binaural beats, we are actually entraining the brain. Okay, if I were, for example, to play a 400 hertz tone into your left ear and a 410 hertz tone into the right ear simultaneously, the first thing you're going to hear, well, you're going to hear the two different tones separately, and then very soon after that, you're going to hear a wavering tone, like a police siren, woo, 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 like that, right? That's the binaural beat. It is the difference between the 400 hertz and the 410 hertz tones, which is 10 hertz, and that 10 hertz is produced inside the brain as an electrical signal, not as a sound, but as an electrical signal. And in this method, with this method, binaural beats, we are able to put the brain into an alpha state. If we were playing two tones that were 7 hertz apart, you would be able to induce a theta state. If we were able to introduce two tones in the left and right ear that were 5 hertz apart, you would be inducing a delta state, and so on. So binaural beats are very good for training the brain into certain states. Now, we're going to stop the music here, and I'm going to play a binaural beat sound cocktail that I put together specifically for this video. That's what you're hearing right now. So the best thing that you can do, or the best way to enjoy this video, is to put on a pair of headphones, okay? Enjoy this video with a pair of headphones on so that you can understand exactly firsthand how binaural beats are. In fact, if you just look up the term binaural beats here on YouTube, you will find a number of beats that are created by a lot of people to induce a state of lucid dreaming. If you want to, have control over your dreams when you go to sleep, there are binaural beats that imitate the effect of any drug, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, believe it or not. So I don't really condone or suggest that you experiment with those, because I don't really know how you turn it off, right? I mean, if you induce a state of a heroin buzz or whatever with binaural beats, how do you turn that off? I guess you try to get a good night's sleep or something, and I'm not really sure how that would work. But those binaural beats are available online. Now, the serious work that was done by Bob Monroe actually enabled people to not only cope with anxiety, stress, depression. There are binaural beats that deal with getting over alcoholism or addiction or ADD, ADHD, or even coping with autism. Before I discovered neurofeedback, I actually did have a certain amount of success with binaural beats on my son in fighting the symptoms of autism spectrum disorder. Now, Bob Monroe was actually able to create different cocktails of binaural beats that enabled the listener to be proficient at specific jobs, not just proficient at work, but proficient at specific jobs. Okay, so we've gone from being able to train the brain into an alpha state or a delta state or a theta state or a gamma state to being able to combine binaural beats together in order to make a person proficient at a particular job. He also created cocktails of binaural beats that would make a person proficient at playing any particular sport, not just sports in general, but boxing or golf or swimming or tennis or football or water polo, any particular sport. Although he is no longer with us, Bob Monroe was the king of binaural beat technology. Now, Bob Monroe and the Monroe Institute also developed a series of binaural beats that actually enabled people to have out-of-body experiences. I know this is hard to believe, but you can actually induce an out-of-body experience using binaural beats. If you watch the videos on the Monroe Institute's YouTube page, you'll find Wednesdays with Bob Monroe, where he actually talks about, in depth, the experience of leaving his body and familiarizing himself with, I guess, what you might call the afterlife, or the process of human beings dying and their souls leaving the earth, and human beings waiting to come back to the earth. I think Bob would probably be better at explaining that than me, so I think it would be best if you just looked at the videos on the Monroe Institute. Now, if you would like to participate in experimentation here at the BiomedRx Health Center, or what we call the BiomedRx Institute, in the out-of-body experience, then I suggest you send an email to info@biomedrx.tv expressing your interest. You have to live here in Southern California, and someone from the Institute will get back with you. Here at the BiomedRx Health Center, we combine binaural beats with neurofeedback, audio-visual brain entrainment, cranial electrotherapy stimulation, and the other brain training techniques to help people accomplish a state of peak performance, to get peak performance out of their mind and out of their brain and out of their bodies, and to help people become peak performers in their professional careers, or their athletic careers, or their academic careers, or whatever it is that they would like to pursue in life. This is just something that you can use at home. All you need at home to experiment with binaural beats is a good set of headphones. If you've got some stereo headphones, feel free to just do a search for binaural beats here on YouTube, and you will find a number of videos. Like I said, you can experiment with the drug beats. I don't recommend it, but if you wanted to put yourself into a nice self-hypnotic state, or sleep, or meditation, or to relax yourself, to get rid of anxiety, stress, depression, you can induce lucid dreams if you wanted to go to sleep and have control over your dream state. There are a lot of things that you can do with binaural beats. It's a cool way to train yourself. We've also got audio files from the Monroe Institute, and but I would suggest you contact the Monroe Institute if you wanted to get official files from them, and also to participate in their programs. There are a lot of people who visit the Monroe Institute every year to have what is called the Gateway Experience, and this is where people attempt to have an out-of-body experience. The Monroe Institute has been able to perfect the OOB, or the out-of-body experience, using binaural beats to the point that it complies with the scientific method. It is repeatable, and it's something that you can do and bring witnesses along with you. So I know that sounds pretty strange, and it sounds like Twilight Zone science, but here at the BiomedRx Institute, sometimes we get off into the Twilight Zone science. Well, that's all I have to say about binaural beats. I just wanted to introduce you to binaural beats and to give you an opportunity to do your own searching here on YouTube. YouTube is a great place to find a lot of binaural beats, and there are a few binaural beat generator websites that you can go to where you can generate your own binaural beats and kind of blend them with each other and experiment with different cocktails. But I highly recommend checking them out. And as you can see here, if you listen to this video long enough, you're going to find that you're getting into a more relaxed state, right? And hopefully you're receptive to the things that I'm saying and to the messages that I'm giving you right here. But binaural beats do definitely work, and it is a very effective brain training technology. Well, that's all I have to say about binaural beats for this video. If you like this video, please remember to hit like and comment and share and subscribe to BiomedRx TV and to Devin Lockett here on Facebook. If you are interested in the brain training or any of the other therapies that we do here at the BiomedRx Health Center, we are here in Southern California to help you. And if you would like to have access to videos that are not here on the public display on YouTube, or if you would like to just provide us with some financial support so that we can continue making these great videos, feel free to become a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/BiomedRx TV and patreon.com/Devin Lockett. And as always, I would like everyone to stay kind, because kind is the new sexy. Stay blessed and stay healthy. Thank you for watching BiomedRx TV.
All right. I'm not going to put you through all of that torture. Thank you for checking that out and getting caught up. So now you understand the basics of binaural beats, okay? To get you caught up with what we're doing specifically right now, we're doing the gateway experience. The gateway experience, let's see, was put together by the Monroe Institute to help people to achieve an out-of-body state. And if you go through the gateway experience according to the directions that I'm showing you here, on the preparatory process and how you move into focus 10, the different levels of focus. As you do this, you're really evolving as a human being, because when you access these different planes of frequency, you're accessing different modes of thought and different modes of being. And on different frequency planes, you are actually a different person. It's that simple. And when you expand your mind's ability to access and to operate within those zones, within those frequency zones, it's joy, it's ecstasy, and it's literally what they say. It's an expansion of your consciousness. It's an expansion of your consciousness that, honestly, it makes the whole experience of neurofeedback, brain training, neuro hacking and consciousness hacking complete. It makes the whole experience complete. And to have the ability to transcend one's physical body while one is still alive, that is such an advanced state of enlightenment, such an advanced state of character and personal enlightenment has to occur before you are able to vibrationally transcend your physical body. And this also has a very healing effect. I'm saying this and looking over here because I have a mirror here at front of my desk. And I'm noticing a very healing effect. My skin complexion is very clear. I feel very healthy. I sleep very, very well, like a baby. And life is good. I'm just going to let you know that. Life is good. This is working for me, okay? And so that's pretty much all I can say. I'm going to continue going through this, and I'm going to recap what it is that we're doing. We're doing very, very hardcore peak performance neural hacking, consciousness hacking training, which involves neurofeedback, which is synchrony neurofeedback, the intent of which is to synchronize the hemispheres of the brain left and right with each other at 50 hertz, which is the highest frequency available in the software, with the Monroe Institute, what you're seeing right here, energy conversion, and all of the things that different ways of preparing your mind for the various frequencies that you're going to be experiencing. And you see here out-of-body exercises during sleep in Focus 10, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. I've got my laptop charged up with the HemiSync audio, and I am going to be bringing a nice set of headphones, and I'll probably hook them up through Bluetooth. The laptop's Bluetooth is working, and I'm going to my son is on it right now. He's doing the training, and full disclosure, I've been doing it since 10 o'clock this morning on myself. Okay, however, can't get enough of that funky stuff, and I'm actually trying to provoke a shift, right? I'm actually trying to provoke a permanent shift. I haven't taken any ORMUS today. I'm going to be taking ORMUS tomorrow, and tomorrow's Sunday. I'm going to be taking ORMUS and doing some intensive gateway training. I'm actually waiting for you know what? What I'm going to do tomorrow, we're going to set this up, okay? And I'm going to do it on the BiomedRx TV channel. I'm going to do my neurofeedback therapy right here, okay? I'm going to do it right here in front of everyone. And I'm going to have my amplifier calibrated and get another one, a loaner one, that is calibrated in the mail on Tuesday. But in the meantime, I'm going to be showing you guys how I perform my neurofeedback therapy right here, and I'm actually going to show you and allow you to hear the results of neurofeedback following the gateway experience audio. Now, I don't want to give you the audio of the gateway, and I believe that the audio of the neurofeedback may actually be violating some copyright too. So I don't want to get too crazy with that. However, what I'm going to do is on BiomedRx TV, the channel BiomedRx TV, tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and allow the 8 a.m. live video to take place, and then when I get back from this from my hike, I'm going to do my own brain training. When I finish my own, I'm going to go immediately from the gateway, okay, from the gateway headphones right into here, and I'm going to hook myself up right here with my EEG amplifier. The software is on the same monster computer upon which I am broadcasting right now, and I'm going to share. I'm going to do a window share and give you guys a share of Signet, and I'm going to put the Signet here. Well, actually, I'm going to put the Signet here in the big frame. I'm going to put Signet right here next to me in the big frame, right? And I'm going to be right here with the wires on, so you're going to be able to see my brainwave patterns. And then I'm going to do another screen share with the graphic that I'm actually looking at, and I'm going to share that down here in the corner, okay? And I'm going to be doing that for about an hour. That's going to take place for about an hour. And I just want to give you guys an understanding of how well I am able to trigger, right? How effectively I am able to trigger in neurofeedback using the after having done HemiSync sound treatment. So I highly recommend the combo platter. Okay, if I sound very calm, it is because I am very calm, and if I am very calm, it's because I am very evolved. This training with the gateway is personality changing. It gives me a profound sense of peace. It gives me a profound sense of willingness to work in cooperation and not in the sense of dominance or control. It gives me a sense of joy, a childish spirit. It gives me a sense of adventure. So it gives me a lot of things, right? It gives me a lot of things. So yes, it is transformative, and I believe transformative in a good way. It's transformative in a very, very good way. So I'm going to let you guys go. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I mean, I kind of wish there would have been a little bit more activity in the likes as well as the comments, but that's fine. And I'm glad you're keeping up with what I'm doing. I'm glad you're keeping up with what I'm going to be doing. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be Synchrony Neurofeedback following Hemi-Sync Gateway, right? And I just want to give you guys the demonstration of how awesome that is. All right. So thanks a lot. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys being here. I want everyone, as always, right, to stay kind, because kind is the only sexy. Stay blessed and stay healthy. And I will log on tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.